I'll just build the ultimate personal assistant that can book meetings, respond to emails, write social media content, and do so much more. In this video, I'm gonna show you how you can implement it for free, how you can make it respond exactly the way you want it, and also how to give it access to other n8n workflows. But make sure to stick around till the end, because I'm also gonna share the #1 mistake I see people make when building AI agents in n8n. So let's start with a quick demo. I'm now going to go ahead and click execute workflow, and the trigger will now wait for any incoming messages. So let's jump over to Telegram and let's ask our assistant to set up a quick meeting with me and one other person, and also send them a confirmation email. So if I go over to n8n, as you can see, this was a text message, so it'll go down this route here, text, and then straight to our master AI agent. And from here, given what the request was, the agent will try and figure out which tool to use for this task. And as you can see, it decided to use calendar as well as the email tool, which is correct. So we should get a message back in Telegram in a second with a confirmation. And just like that, we've got a message back. So let's jump over to Telegram. And as you can see, mission accomplished. Meeting has been scheduled, and we've even got a link to our meeting. But let's jump over to a calendar. And as you can see, meeting with Susan is here. And if I jump over to the email, we've got our confirmation email here, just confirming our 30-minute meeting at 1 p.m. today. Looking forward to it. So for the second demo, let's ask our assistant to write a LinkedIn post for us. So I'm going to click execute again, and let's just say, can you do some research into the best tips for prompting an LLM such as ChatGPT, and can you draft a LinkedIn post about it? And because it was a audio message, it went down the audio route. So first of all, we got the file from Telegram, and then we transcribed it using OpenAI, so that the agent got all the information it needs now to proceed with completing the task. So it will figure out again which tool to use, and first of all, it should use the research tool, as it does, as you can see. And then once it got all the data it needs, it will use the social media tool to then draft a post and save it inside of Google Sheets for us. So we've just got a message back in Telegram, and as you can see, the post has been created. And if I jump over to Google Sheets, it's now ready for us to post on LinkedIn. So let me walk you through the main AI agent setup. Now, by the way, you are going to get access to all of those templates for free. So just click the first link below the video, and that will take you to the page where you can download all of the templates for free. Now, in terms of the actual setup for the main agent here, we start with the Telegram trigger, and this will watch for any new messages in Telegram. And we've got an option to send either text messages or audio messages, and the agent will be able to understand both. So if it's a text message, then it goes straight to the master agent. You know, there isn't anything else that we need to do with it. But if it's an audio message, then first we need to download the audio file from Telegram, and then we will transcribe it using OpenAI model. So then the audio file essentially becomes text, and the agent will now understand it. And if I click on the master AI agent, right now we've got the prompt, the user message, and this is what it looks like. So as you can see, it's got this double line thing here, and the reason for that is because we will either send a text message to the agent or the transcribed audio file, and this will accept both. So this is why it's laid out like this. And if I open the system prompt, this is what it looks like. I like to keep things very organized, very simple. So I've got the main kind of prompt here, your helpful personal assistant. And then I've got the different headings. So one for tools that it has access to, and the other one for the response format. So what do we actually expect the agent to respond like? And I also give the agent information about the current date and time. So all I've done here was I just used the $now format for this, and it will appear as date, time, you know, the date and the time. But if you wanted to simplify this, maybe all you have to do is just go over to the formula and then type dot and then format, and then if you open the bracket from here, you can just format this as whatever you need. So for example, if you want day, month, year, you can just do day /ll/ year, and don't forget to wrap this inside of single quotes. And as you can see, the date is now shown as this. But for this example, let's just keep it simple and then just leave it as now. The agent has got access to 5 different tools, and I will show you each one of them one by one. But just to give you an overview, the calculator, that's just a built-in calculator tool. There isn't anything to it. So just in case you want your assistant to, calculate something. So the next tool is the calendar tool, and the agent will use this tool for anything calendar related, like booking events, checking contact information, inviting someone to an event, and so on, right? And what we do here, we pass 2 pieces of data, and first one is the request. So we are basically asking, what are you trying to use this tool for, so that the agent can then explain. And the sub agent that I'm going to show you in a minute will understand exactly what it needs to do. And the second one is the information about attendees. If we are inviting someone to a meeting, we'll have the information sent through this, and we're just asking for a name, and based on the name, the sub agent will be able to find the relevant contact information and then add them to the meeting. And the next one is the email tool, and as the name suggests, we'll use this for anything email related, like writing emails, checking emails, even adding labels to emails. And then we pass on simply the request here. So what are you trying to use this tool for? And by the way, all I've done here to get this to show was I clicked on the star button here next to the box. And what that's going to do is that going to let AI define automatically what the tool needs to be used for. Then all I did was I entered the description here, and just to narrow down what they can ask for. So next up is the social media tool, and as you can see, we are passing 2 inputs here. First one is the request, so we are specifying what the post should be about, what it should include and things like that. And the second one is the social media, and here is where we define what social media the post is going to be for. It's going to be for LinkedIn, for Twitter, or for anything else. And the last one on the list is the research tool. Now this one again does what it says, so we're going to use it for anything that's related to research. So if we ask the agent for any current information like current news, or if we tell it to research a specific topic, it's going to go ahead and use this tool. And those are all the tools I've added here, and those are, I believe, the main ones that you want your assistant to have access to. But if you feel like that's not enough, you can always just click on the plus button here and then just add another one. The one I used was called an n8n workflow tool. So this tool gives you an option to then select the workflow that you want to activate, and you just click on the drop down box and then you select which one you want your agent to have access to. So lastly, I've also gave our master agent access to a simple memory, so that way it will have access to last 5 messages that we sent to each other. And for the actual model behind the master agent, I decided to go with OpenRouter instead of something like OpenAI or Claude. And the reason for that is, if you click on the OpenRouter, you can actually change the model right here, so it will have access to basically all of the models that you might want to use, like Grok, which is what I used in this case. It will have the OpenAI models, Claude models, and just pretty much any model that you want to use. And so it's very easy to switch between models. And I've done the same with the sub agents, which is what I'm going to show you in a moment. And the first one is the calendar agent. And by the way, if you want to do what I did, so if you want your agent or your main agent to have access to other workflows, all you have to do is to add when executed by another workflow as a trigger. And then from here, you can specify what data you want your workflow to request from your agent. And in this case, we are requesting the request and also the attendees. And if you remember, if we go back to the main agent and click on the calendar tool again, the 2 pieces of information that we are requesting are the request and attendees, which matches here. So if you make any changes here inside this JSON, you'll have to come over to the main workflow and then just refresh the list here, and the option will appear. So in terms of the actual sub agent workflow, now as you can see, it's got access to 6 different tools, and each one of them is gonna allow agent to perform different action, like get events. So this one will check what events that we have within a specified time frame. We can also create events, delete events, even update event, and get contacts. And finally, it can also create event with attendee. So if we are inviting someone, then it's gonna go ahead and use that tool there. And in terms of the actual master prompt for this sub agent, it looks like this. You might notice that it's laid out in a very similar way to the master agent. And again, we are keeping things, nice and organized. So we have a list of tools that it has access to, and also a list of rules that it needs to follow in order to perform tasks. So the last part of this workflow are those 2 set nodes here, success and error. And the reason why I set it up like this is because I've added the error handler to our agent. So what's going to happen once the agent encounters an error is going to output the error message, and it will go down this route here, error. This will let our main agent know that actually there was an error that occurred, can you try again? But if it was successful, then it will go down this route here, and it will send the actual output back to our agent. And for this sub agent, I gave it access to 6 different tools, and I generally recommend not giving any agent access to more than 7 or 8 tools, because otherwise it might get confused which one to use. So I think 6, 7, 8, up to 8 is a good number to use for agents inside of n8n. So lastly, let's just do a quick demo of our calendar agent. Let's just ask it to maybe delete an event. I've created an event for today for 2 p.m. It was created by accident. Can you go ahead and delete it from my calendar, please? So now the main agent is going to go ahead and call on the calendar tool to delete our event. And as you can see, the event is now a history. Proof gone from your calendar. I love the way that the agent responds. By the way, if it miraculously reappears, blame the AI gremlins. Thanks, will do. So next up is the email agent. It's got access to 8 different tools. It can do things like get emails. You can also delete emails from your inbox. It's also got access to get contacts, and the reason for that is because we might want to get our agent to send email to someone, and that way it needs to know who is sending email to. And finally, agent can send emails. It can reply to emails and also get labels. So in terms of the actual master prompt for this agent, this is what it looks like. And again, I specify what tools that it has access to, and also give it a short description of what each tool does, and also what kind of format we expect, for example, date to be sent. And because we are gonna ask the agent to write and respond to emails, I also gave it some writing rules. And again, we've got the success and error messages at the end, so that in case an error happens, the master agent knows what needs to do. So with that out of the way, let's do a quick demo. And this time, let's just say, can you check what emails have I received today? Here is the summary of the emails we've got today. I did a little bit of testing before that, as you can see. I've got some emails from school as well, and also from LinkedIn about the profile photo change. So that's how the email tool works. So the third tool on our list is social media tool. And you might notice that this isn't actually an agent, but rather 2 AI nodes with OpenRouter connected. And the reason why I've done that was because we are going to ask this tool to either draft a Twitter post or LinkedIn post, and drafting posts for 2 social media will require separate prompts. So I thought it'll be best to just split them out like this. The first one, the draft Twitter post, I start with a short system prompt. You are a seasoned writer for Twitter, and I give it a master prompt as well, which looks like this. By the way, you don't have to pause a video and copy all of this. You will have access to those prompts as well inside of the agents, so don't worry. And it's quite simple, we give it the rules, write posts of up to 300 characters, and about emojis, AI loves those for some reason. Again, I use OpenRouter for this. and that will give you a chance to, you know, test different models as well. I used OpenAI GPT 4.1 in this case, but you can change that to Grok or Claude if that's what you want. And lastly, we are saving the post inside of Google Sheets, which all the posts are going to go here, and you are going to get access to Google Sheets as well, so you can copy it and use it yourself. And also there is an option for you to allow your agent to be able to post on social media for you, but I just haven't connected that here. But you can easily connect it, and once you do, you know, it'll automatically populate for you. So it'll just grab data from the previous module and then have this as a text input inside of this node. And then lastly, it'll update the status in Google Sheets to notify you that it has been posted for you. But I just haven't done that in this case. And it works in the same way for LinkedIn, except we just have a different master prompt and different example that's tailored more to LinkedIn. So this one will have a limit of 1,000 characters and, you know, a few other LinkedIn specific things. And don't forget, if you are going to ask it to draft posts for you, don't forget to add a good post example here, like I've done in this case, and I've done that for Twitter as well. So let's give it a quick test, but this time let's ask it to draft a Twitter post. Let's just say, can you draft a short motivational post for Twitter about never giving up? And let's see what our agent can come up with. So here it is. It was actually 280 characters, which is perfect. And if I go over to Google Sheets, here we have the post. So most people quit before see results, keep moving, small steps compound. Very, very motivational. And finally, the research agent. So you might notice that the structure is very similar to the previous two agents that I showed you, except we are now given access to only two different tools, being Wikipedia and Perplexity. And the reason for that is Perplexity can actually handle most of the research related tasks, but just in case the query that we give is quite simple, you know, I've also added Wikipedia there, and I also specify that inside the prompt that for any simple queries, unless asked for any news or trends, you know, use Wikipedia, and just once you've got the answer, I'll just stop there. But for anything else, for any news, any research, then just use Perplexity. And now there are other tools that you can use instead of Perplexity, but I just love using Perplexity for any research tasks myself, so I added that there. Now, of course, you could, instead of just having the agent with access to Perplexity, you could instead just change the model here to Perplexity Sonar or any other Perplexity module. But from what I've noticed, if you give access to Perplexity through OpenRouter, the agent won't actually provide you with the links to articles, which is quite important if you're doing research, I believe. So let's now do a quick demo, and let's ask our assistant to give us the recent news. Can you give me the recent AI news that happened? And as you can see, we've now got a summary of all the recent AI news that happened, as well as the links to articles, so we can dive in deeper if we wanted to. It also said, not bad for a world where AI is basically running the show. I'm not sure what it means by that, but let's leave it there, I guess. And then the last tool on the list, which is the calculator. So just to show you that it actually works, let's say, what's 7 times 365? And as you can see, we've got our answer, and 7 times 365 equals to 555. Interesting. So that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching, and as you've probably noticed, this is a very first video that I've published on this channel. So if you liked it, I would really appreciate if you left a like and subscribed, because I'm going to be posting more videos like this very soon. So I'm hoping you're going to stick around, and with that, I'll see you in the next video.